Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few Google tools that you can use to help you save some time as a teacher. So one of the tools that I'm going to show you is just using Google Calendar. So if your school uses Google Calendar, which I hope it does, you can, when you create a new event, right, whatever the title is, just put test in here. When you add a guest, so let's say I want to meet with an assistant here, I can view suggested times. Now this will then load times when we are both free. So all participants can attend, you see, and so I can then select, okay, let's meet tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And that's now the time. The other thing that I like to do, so we're going to send an invite and stuff, but I like to also let them modify the event, which means that they, if they decide actually that's not a great time, they can actually click that and change the time. Or you can just leave that off. They can then send you an email and you can just find a new suggested time and go, actually, let's change it to the 3rd at 2 p.m. and then that gets changed there. So it's a nice, quick, easy way to find a time when you can both meet. And then of course, using this, if you're going to meet online, is nice and easy. Just make sure that this is there. You can choose to make it a Zoom meeting, but Google Meet's pretty good and it's free and stuff for anyone who's using Google. So that's one quick way to really save you a bit of time when you're trying to find a time to meet up with someone. Now, that generally works in your organization stuff, but if you need to organize a time with people outside your organization, there are ways of doing that in Google. I find them a little bit clunky. I mean, it is improving, but if you go to calendly.com, you can create a free account here where you get to go and create meeting schedules. And so in here, I can decide when people are going to book the event, how far ahead they can book, how long the meeting's for, and then here, what times they're available, or I'm available, to be booked. You can even decide how long before or after event there needs to be a break. So maybe like if you're not putting in your calendar your travel time, that will adjust for your travel time. So that's pretty cool in Calendly. And then all you've got to do with Calendly to organize something is you send someone this link, and when they land on the link, they'll get a page like this. They can go, okay, today's the 1st, I want to meet with Daniel on the 4th, and these are the times I'm available. And so it will check against my calendar in Google to see if I'm available during the times that I've said I'm available. And it means someone can't necessarily book me at times where I don't want to be available. And so if I go to Friday, here's the times on Friday when I'm free, or here's the times on Thursday when I'm free. And it's just checking against my calendar and the times when I've said I'm available. So that's a really cool, simple tool that can save you a lot of time when you're going back and forth with other people to set up your meetings. Okay, well, let's jump out of there. Let's head over to email. Now, email is something that I think consumes a lot of time as a teacher. So I'm going to show you just a couple of things to help you save a bit of time here as we do this. So number one, let's create some templates. Okay, so when you find that you have to send the same email lots of times, or at least a really similar email, what I do is I create a template for it, and then whenever I get asked from a parent or a student, or what were the details for this event, does my child have to be here or whatever, I can just get the template and use it over and over again. So to make a template or to insert a template here, go to the 3 dots, go up here to templates. Now I can save draft as template, and so here I might save a new one, or I might be updating one of my other ones that I've had previously, and so I can update that, or I can insert the template. And so here we go, free online PD, and then it puts in, hi John, it was great to catch up with you, blah, 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 right? And it's just a short little template that I've used, and I can just change John to something else, right? And that's the code that used to be doesn't work anymore, that works here. And it's just automatically pasted in there. Now, the thing you need to be careful of is this signature thing. So if you save a template, you might want to delete the signature before you save it as a template, or delete the signature afterwards. But just be careful that your template might duplicate itself throughout, and you might want to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so that's how you save templates, how to use templates. Just delete that, I don't need to send that. The other thing we need to be able to do is use our settings really well. Now, I'm going to go to all our settings, because what I want to do is talk about filters. So in filters, you can set up rules that mean that whenever you get an email, let's say you subscribe to a particular email or you're part of a group email that goes out all the time, you can actually set up a rule that automatically takes that out of your inbox. Okay, and so if you're constantly having to archive or put it into a folder or something, you can just automatically have that work. And so you just need to create a new filter, and you decide it might be by who it's from, it might be by the subject, it might be some of the words it's going to include, and then you then search for it, right? So let's say it's from, that's my wife, right? So it's from her. So what emails from my wife, and let's create a filter. So when you click create a filter, you then get to choose what it does. So I can make it skip the inbox and archive it. I can mark it as read. I could star it if it's something that's going to be important. So if you're waiting for an email or something, you could star it and then it will be labeled as important. Or you can forward it to someone else's email address if you want to. Or you can delete it, never send it to spam. That's a good one to use if you're constantly getting an email that keeps getting sent into your junk box or something. Click that. You could send a template, so you can choose to automatically send a templated reply to the person who sent you an email if it's about a particular thing. So rather than having to even click the template and reply, you can actually go, well, whenever someone asks about the workshop, this is, they get the HSC workshop invoice sent to them or workshop details sent to them. And so they're always going to get that. Or you can move it into a category. You can add a label, right? So you can choose what label you want to put into it. And so you create that, and when you create that filter, then whenever those emails come in, these actions will happen to it. And that's really cool. I don't want to do this to my wife's emails, but that's something that I could do if I wanted to, is I could actually set up these kinds of filters that are automatic, and then it means that when they happen, I can actually just go straight to where they are. They might be under my labels here or something like that. They might be starred here, and that's really cool too. So the other thing I want to talk about is this system for my inbox. So you'll notice in settings here, we have these kind of basic inbox types. And so you might have the default, which is kind of nothing. You might have important first, so ones that get marked as important. You might have the unread first. You might have the starred coming up first. You can see here I've got a priority inbox and I've customized it. Okay, so if I click customize here, it then tells me number 1 is my unread, right? And number 2 is starred. Number 3 is empty, right? I've got nothing in there. And number 4 is everything else. And so this is just a ordering system for my emails. So the first ones I see are my unread ones. Okay, now I can completely change this. So reset priority inbox to default if I want to, or I can go here and go, see, I can change it from unread to important or starred. There's more options. How many items do you want it to show at any one time in that section? So I have my unread first, then I have the emails that I've starred. Section 3, I could have that as my important and unread or important ones. And then everything else I've got here in number 4 is my last one. So that then means that when I go to my inbox, I have my unread here, I have starred, and then I've got everything else. And so I don't tend to have just a whole big massive chunk of email. I could even, for example, put my unread emails down here, so I focus on my more important or starred emails first. I like to keep my inbox fairly clean generally, and so I actually clean it out all the time whenever I get it, and I unsubscribe from stuff, which saves you a lot of time as well. And so I never actually have a massive amount of unread emails, which is super important for me and my management of my time. And I think it's good for you. If you subscribe to anything, click here, right? Search for unsubscribe, okay? And you'll find all these emails that you can then unsubscribe from. And so you can then click on those and click the unsubscribe button. So this is emails from me. I'm not going to unsubscribe from my own emails, but you could click that and that's it. That email's done. I'm never going to get it again. And I can go to any of the emails that are coming into me and just unsubscribe. It's a quick, easy way to then mean that you're not getting emails from people who you don't actually want to get emails from. So that's a quick thing for you to do there as well. Now, while we're talking about templates, let's go to Docs. And I love the Docs template gallery. So in here, you can create and submit your own templates. Now, if you don't have this button, just contact the person who's in charge of your Google admin. Normally that's someone at your school, and then they can allow you to submit stuff. And then you just click here, you select a document, so any document that you've got that's a template, okay? And then, so I'll just go whatever, recents. Okay, I could make this a template. I just click open, and then I can submit a copy of this file instead of the original. So if I submit a copy, it means that if I change the original, it doesn't change the template. Now I leave this off so that when I change the original, it does change the template. It means that I don't have to keep resubmitting the template. And then you just select your category for where it's going to go into, and you click submit, and it will then be up on your screen there. And then it saves you a lot of time. You can come here and go, I'm designing a unit, click this button, and then I can actually create the unit of work, and it just brings everything in from that template. And there are also a bunch of general templates, right, that you might choose to use at any time as you're creating things. So just have a look through and see which ones you like. And this is the same for lots of places. So if you go to slides, okay, slides has templates as well. Okay, and so you click your template gallery, create, submit them. Same for sheets. Okay, sheets will have a template gallery here as well. So you can see a gradebook there, for example, invoices. And so you can submit new templates into here and then use them over and over again each year or every time you need to create these invoices and stuff. It just saves you a bunch of time having to lay it out and find the basics and get the basics done. So for example, when you do your programming, right, if you've got all of your year 7 science syllabus into a template already for programming, or you have a section of it, right, for a particular topic, you can just use that template again when you want to redo that program. If you don't want to edit last year's one, you want to completely start afresh, you can just do that and bring it in as a template and edit away. And so it just saves you a ton of time using templates. Okay, let's go to Drive. Now in Google Drive, we actually have this cool system called Priority. So your Priority inbox, or your Priority, well, it's not really an inbox, it's your Drive section. But basically what's coming up here, you're going to create workspaces. These are workspaces where you might bring together a whole bunch of your documents that aren't necessarily in the same folder in your My Drive, but that you're using at the moment and you're collaborating and working on between things. And so you can see I have a bunch here for podcasting. It's got my image, it's got a couple of my episodes or whatever in there that I was working on at that time. You can see here, this is my HSC workshop stuff. So I've got my sales video presentation, I've got my registration form, the sheet, and the actual workshop slides. And so I can put everything here together that I'm working on that relates to it, even if it's not in the same folder within my Drive. And that can become really helpful, particularly if you're looking at something that's in like a shared drive, something else that's in your Drive, and you're looking at a markbook somewhere as well. You can actually bring that all together. For example, like as you write your reports, you might want 3 or 4 different things. And so you can just create a space, give it a title, right, report, writing, click create, and then you can add files and just search for any files that are coming up. So in your Drive, so My Drive, shared drives, and so you can put in here like the template or the rules for report writing from your school. You could grab your class mark books that has all the stuff that you're going to use to go into your reports, or maybe even some examples of stuff from your students. Whatever you like can go into that space, and it's quite easy to add stuff, and then you just click done and it's created, right? And this will come up and it'll be empty. But that's a really cool way of saving you a bit of time as well if you're constantly flicking through stuff. I also like to use things like starred, so if there's one document that you need to go back to or a folder that you use all the time, I star it, and that means I can come here and find the stuff that I'm working on faster. This tends to rotate a bit more, so I'll unstar things as well. Another quick thing to use in your Drive is to color code things. Now this isn't massively color coded, right? Actually here's blue, there should be a green one down here too, because I saw it, green, and that's a test one. But this is simple, right? You just, whatever it is, select it, and then you go here and you can change the color, and you can completely color code all of your folders to make it easier for you to find them. And so particularly the ones I tend to color code more are the ones I use more often. So you can see here that these are the ones that are going to get coded, so I can find them faster because I know what color it is. I know this one, for example, is green. This one I'm not using as much anymore. I can probably unstar it and change the color of it and stuff. But this is, and there's some quick ways to save you some time in Google Drive. So if I just open up a blank one, I go to Tools, go to Voice Typing, make sure this is Australian English, and then I click here and it's going to type what I say as I talk. And so this is a good way if you have a student maybe that needs to read stuff while you're giving a presentation. You can get this to work. I mean, you can set up closed captions on a lot of things these days as well. But it'll save you time, right? In a meeting, rather than writing down notes, you could just record it and it will type all of the notes for the entire meeting. You can choose to use this instead of typing. If you are a really slow typer, you could talk and Google will just write it down. So you could use it for your comments, for reports, for example. And if you need to add specific things, you might be able to say something like full stop, and it might add a full stop. Or you might be able to say paragraph, and it should give you a new paragraph. Maybe I need to say, yep, there we go, new paragraph. And so that's really cool. As you're typing, you can just say that's it for now, full stop. I really want to keep going, but I need a new paragraph. See, great little tool, saves you a lot of time. All right, the next thing I want to show you is if you go to a page, and I teach my students this too, often we're just looking for one or two things on a web page. Like this is a long one. I don't want to read this whole thing to try and find what I'm after. Thankfully, this one's got some headings on it, which make it a bit more navigational. But if I'm just looking for a single thing, I press Command or Control F, and now I'm just finding, right? This is Control Find. I'm finding something on my page. So here I want to find the word, let's just go @, because I know it comes up lots in this page. Right, it's there 26 times, and I can just jump through and look at, is that actually the bit I'm wanting? I can keep going. I could put in maybe burden. So now we're finding all the burdens of disease. There's only 2 of those. And so it saves me having to read through because it highlights it and takes me there really quickly. The other really cool thing too is that if you want to send students to a specific spot in something, you can highlight it, right click, copy link to the highlight. That'll save them some time, right? And then you just paste that. And because you've highlighted that section, when it fully loads, it takes you down to that section of the page and it's highlighted. How cool is that? Really good time-saving tip in Google. You might normally go to drive.com, right, and search in here, but you actually don't need to. On any place, you can just type in Drive and then search your Drive by just pressing spacebar. And now I'm searching in my Drive for unit of work, right? And so straight to Google Drive and it searches it. That just saves you a lot of time. I don't have to constantly go, drive.google, wait for that to load and then type in my search. I can just search straight away. So hopefully there are some things that are going to save you some time. as a teacher, just reducing that workload a little bit and helping you to become more efficient. I think the biggest impact is the calendar and the cleaning up of your email. They are definitely the best tools for saving you some time.